Hi everyone! Hope you're having a lovely day today. Just before I get into the feel of this video, I just wanted to say that this video is not meant to be patronising or offensive to anyone. It's to raise awareness for the scope movement to end the awkwardness around disability. So I don't want to offend anyone who may have made faux pas around disability in the past, or anybody who's suffered with awkwardness in the past around disability. So it's literally just meant to be comical and to raise awareness. So I hope you guys enjoy. I'm going to start with some moments that I have had which were really awkward with people. Starting with a really recent one. Just the other day, me and my friend were adventuring around London, and we decided to get assistance because we'd never actually been to this particular place before, and rather than both getting horribly lost, it's just a bit easier to ask for a bit of help. So we obviously got a woman who had never done assisting before. The lady with her kind of explained what she needed to do, and we were off. So approaching the escalators, you know, she kept repeatedly asking, oh, we're coming up to an escalator now, about 3 steps away from the escalator now, we're getting on the escalator now, do you need them to steady you in any way, will you be okay on the escalators? And you know, we assured her that we would be okay on the escalators. But after that, it was like we were standing on the escalator, she was on the step below me, and she had her arms out like this, just to make sure, you know, as if she truly believed that if she took her arms away from us, that members of the public would just swarm in and sweep us off the escalator. That, or if she dared take her arms away to stop us from falling, we'd automatically lose the ability to use our legs, and we'd face plant the escalator and then penguin slide right the way down to the bottom and die. So she was truly terrified. It was funny, but I felt guilty for feeling like it was really funny, because she was genuinely terrified about having two visually impaired / blind people at once. It was a genuinely terrifying experience for this woman. So I kind of felt bad for seeking enjoyment and her obvious terror. Another experience that I had was one quite a long time ago, though I found quite shocking, because this actually took place with a member of staff at the college I went to, which was a place for people who were visually impaired or totally blind. So I was really surprised that I got asked this question. We'd had some problems, you know, as you do with teenagers and young people and things. There had been a couple of issues with eating disorders, and I was sitting in the kitchen talking to a member of staff, and they turned around and said, but how could a visually impaired or blind person suffer from an eating disorder? I mean, they can't see themselves. The whole point of having an eating disorder is that you look in yourself in the mirror and you see a fat or a skinny person when you're not fat or skinny. So if they can't see themselves, how do they even know they're fat or skinny? And there was just this horrible silence where even I was rendered speechless in awe of this person's stupidity. I mean, what kind of question is that? How could you ask how a blind person or a visually impaired person can have an eating disorder? Of course they can have an eating disorder. It's all about how you perceive your body to yourself. I mean, some of us might not be able to physically stand in front of a mirror and look at ourselves, but we're inside our own skin. We still feel differently about our bodies, might still feel uncomfortable about our bodies. We can feel our bodies, we live in our bodies. How can you tell us that we can't have an opinion on the way that we look when we might not be able to see, but we're taking information about ourselves and our surroundings in other ways? It just, oh God, it rendered me completely speechless at the time. I was actually genuinely quite gobsmacked. Another one that I've had was when I was at the job centre. Again, I think this was probably about a year ago now, and I'd gone in, me and my mum had been shopping, and I remembered that I had an appointment and I had to pop up. So she said, don't worry, I've got to do this and then I'll come and meet you. So I ran upstairs talking to my advisor, and then all of a sudden we get a call through, and it's my mum's come in and asked where I might be, and they've told me that I'm upstairs. They told her that I'm upstairs, and my mum just explained to them. I can't remember why she needed to explain to them, but she explained to them that I was visually impaired. They actually called to tell my advisor off for allowing me to walk up the stairs unassisted. And then they wanted to send an escort up to me to bring me back down the stairs to find my mum. I was like, I got up here? How do you think I got up here? I levitated up the stairs? I flew? I've suddenly, gained the ability to apparate? I'm a Harry Potter witch. What do you want? Just because I'm blind or visually impaired, why do you think the stairs are going to be such an impossible challenge when I've already walked up them once to get here? But no, they were insistent. They actually genuinely sent an escort to bring me back down the stairs to my mum. And we were just pissing ourselves laughing because it just couldn't work out why someone would think that was necessary. Also, same with the job centre again. This I have to admit did irritate me. I was very, very angry at this, but I had been looking for a job for a frustrating amount of time, and my advisor was pointing out that after a certain period of time of being on job seekers allowance, you have to go on courses and things or little events to help with your employability, which I understood. That's fine. And she was saying about special needs ones that can help people with different disabilities, and I thought, oh my god, we're getting somewhere. She might actually send me to someone who could understands me a bit more and understands my disability a bit more. Nope. The next thing she turned around to say is, we have a learning disabilities course. Silence. It's like, I'm sorry, say that again? She's like, oh, we've got a learning disability course that I think might help you. I'm sorry, I don't actually have a learning disability. I can't see. How is someone who deals with learning disabilities going to be able to help me when my problem is that I can't see very well? There is just my brain and everything else 100% intact, guys. I just can't see. How is sending me on a learning disability course going to help my employability when I don't have learning disabilities? Oh God, I got so angry with this woman. I was so frustrated. Oh God, I just I didn't know what to say. I was literally rendered speechless for about 30 seconds. I just stared at her in awe of her stupidity once more. I mean, there's very few times in my life when I have been rendered speechless, but this was one of those times. Another time that I had, which was really embarrassing and really upsetting for me, it really knocked my confidence, was when I was working in Lush Retail, and I'd been having a few issues there with some management, and my boss basically hadn't been doing certain things, like enlarging the rota for me so I could see when my shifts were, and I'd been late a couple of times because I'd misread it and whatnot. So I was kind of struggling a little bit, but I was soldiering on, and what I'd done is visualised the whole shop. I'd kind of memorised it because I can't read the little squiggly signs and fancy stuff they've got written on all of the products, so I just had to visualise it all. And then when we got Christmas stock in, obviously everything changed, everything moved around, and I couldn't remember where anything was. So a woman comes into the shop with a newspaper article asking me what this product is called, because she couldn't remember. So I realised what product it was, but because everything had changed around, I couldn't find it in the shop. So rather than waste her time, I thought, my boss is literally behind the counter, I'll go and ask her, because she'll be able to point me straight out to it. So I went with the customer over to the counter and asked her for her advice where the product is. And rather than just tell me and then maybe ask me about it later, she dragged me across the coals in front of the customer and was like, why are you asking me stupid questions? Why are you wasting this woman's time and mine? If you don't know how to do your job properly, why are you even here? Like, you should know this by now. You've been working here for weeks. Why can't you tell me where it is? why should I waste my time training you if you can't remember anything? And to the point where the customer felt the need to apologise for asking. And then her thing was to turn round, my boss's thing was to turn round and say, oh, it's okay, this isn't your fault, it's hers, she's the one that doesn't know how to do her job properly. And I just felt mortified because it had absolutely nothing to do with the fact that I didn't know what product it was, or that I couldn't do my job properly. I was very knowledgeable. I'd done a lot of research and put a lot of time into looking at all the products individually so I could give people the right information, and I was mortified and I was really, really upset. And then she was so angry with me after that she literally sent me down. We had like this lift that went down to the basement where you put all the bins out and stuff like that. She literally sent me down there for like 2 hours to just sort out the bins, and for the rest of my shift I just spent down there. And I was so upset. I don't often get upset or emotional about these things, but I'd been working really hard, and this was one in a line of things that had happened in that particular job. And I just felt so mortified. It was at Christmas with a shop full of people, and I just felt really victimised and bullied. And it wasn't until a couple of days after that I actually approached her about it and said, look, I wanted to approach you about what happened the other day in front of the customer, because I felt that wasn't very well handled. When actually what you failed to realise is that it had nothing to do with my capability or my competence at my job. It actually was to do with my vision impairment. I couldn't see where the product was. Things have changed around in the shop, so I no longer can just go to something and be like, there it is. I came to you because I didn't want to waste that woman's time, and I thought it would be much easier than, attempting to find it myself. And I felt as if that was very poorly handled, and she hated me and made things really hard for me anyway, and I left. Well, she fired me, basically. So I left. But, yeah, that was another just total ignorance, and she just didn't think about it. She didn't comprehend that it could have been something else other than me being totally incompetent, which was wrong. I wasn't. Another one, when I was a lot younger, when I was actually totally blind before I had all my operations, I used to get the comment of, oh, will you get a blind dog when you're older? And my response used to be, no, I'd actually rather get one that could see. Can't both be blind. I was quite proud of myself. When my mum told me this one, I was quite proud that even at a young age I took the humorous view upon things. So, yes, these are my top embarrassing, awkward moments. And for everyone out there, please share your experiences of awkward moments, awkward experiences. And for those who aren't blind or visually impaired or disabled in any way, just think about it. You don't have to be awkward around us, because you know that 1/3 of the population feel awkward around disability. And you really shouldn't. We don't take offence to things. We're not going to bite. We're totally normal people. So just treat us like you would treat anyone else, and it'll all be fine, guys. So this is me raising awareness for End the Awkwardness in the name of Scope. And yes, let's try and end this awkwardness for the sake of all mankind. Bye, guys!